Hi everyone, this is Kathleen with Windy Chaos, and I have a new kit to share with you today. I know it seems weird to not be about Christmas or New Year's, but in planner world, we have to go in advance. And I'm learning that more and more as I'm building my business and listening to a lot of different things on, kind of how algorithms work and things like that, that you have to get out there early so it can get kind of filtered through the system and bring traffic to you and all that's good stuff. So it's hard because I am in full-fledged Christmas mode at the moment in my home and in my thought processes, and yet here I am talking about Valentine. So anyway, it feels a little strange and surreal, especially since, Christmas is kind of the highlight of the year, at least in my opinion, and to skip over it to go on to the next thing just feels a little awkward. But okay, thanks for letting me ramble. Let's jump into this kit. This is a We Whisper kit, which means that it has clip art, it has labels, days of the week, and patterns. And for 2026, I believe that most of my kits will be this size. The other sizes I have a pinwheel set, which basically gives you an a la carte option. You can get the patterns by themselves, or you can get the clip art by itself. And they match and they're really cute together. But if you're not somebody who uses patterns a lot, it might just make sense to only have to buy the clip art. And then the big Mac Daddies are the Whirligig kits. And they're only coming out once a season because they're just a ton of work. And they are massive in size. And I'm working on trying to get them a little smaller in file size so that they're easier to work with on your iPad, especially if you have an iPad that doesn't have a ton of memory. I know I'm probably getting close to the top of my memory on this, and just larger file sizes can make your software just be laggy. It just kind of is extra time for them. So I do all my planning in ZoomNotes, but all the kits from I want to say in this last summer of 2025 was when I started incorporating 3 formats for planners. So I have a ZoomNotes version of this kit. I have a Noteful version of this kit, which I believe right now is kind of the most popular app that people are using for their planning. And then I still have GoodNotes, because if you're like me, most of your stickers are in a GoodNotes format already. And so that's what I plan with. I will tell you, file size wise, GoodNotes is still the smallest file. I put the exact same stuff in each sticker book, and ZoomNotes is always the largest, and Noteful lands it right in the middle. So there's the skinny on that. Alrighty, let's jump into the clip art. So this is a kind of a sweet little cabin feel. Lots of little woodland stuff, but also Valentine's, in that we're dealing, I put a lot of bows and hearts in it as well. So we've got some chickadees and some cardinals, a bunny and a fawn, some bows, a candle, Cupid's arrows, and then we've got 4 cabins. You can take your pick, whichever one you think works for you. And my thought was just a cozy cabin with all these little sweet feminine feelings in it too. So we got some sweet little doilies at the top. They're a little hard to read on the white background, but hopefully you can see that they're kind of this creamy ivory color. And then we've got a couple of fireplaces, chocolates in a heart-shaped box, some chocolate-covered strawberries, some beautiful cookies that are in heart shapes and a bow shape, and then a couple of things of hot chocolate and cookies on a plate. And then I have a couple of doors here with the heart wreaths. I think they're really pretty. And then, I don't know, just nothing more cozy to me than curling up with a book. And that, so we've got a little bookcase there. We've got a table with the lamp and the cup. Now, these are not separate. Usually, I kind of have these all as separate, but this is one piece this time. And then we have a couch and a chair because it's fun to put together like little scenes and vignettes. And then on this page, we've got a couple little heart pillows, or you could make these into whatever you wanted them to be, just a sachet or a Valentine. This looks really cute. This, like this. I think this is Darling. Isn't that fun? Okay, so you've got this sweet little locket necklace, and then you've also got it here where you see the whole chain. And then a couple of lanterns, this key, which you'll see again when I did the days of the week, and some love letters, some little heart valentines, a little heart stamp with little postmarks on it, mittens, wreath, little heart-shaped pine cone, candies, pretty quilt, another little Valentine ribbon, garland, this beautiful sled, and then we've got a little thermos, some fuzzy socks, and a stack of wood. And then these, I'm going to pull these over onto the gray, that way you can see them. Let's see. Because they're really pretty. These little white snowflakes with little heart motif to them. Okay. I should have done that with those. Let's go back to that one page so you can see them a little better. Pull them off on the gray so you can see those guys. There you go. Aren't they pretty? But you do need something other than white to put them on because they just blend in. Alrighty, and then we've got some little sayings here. Let's hold hands forever. Yes, I'm single. No, I'm not mad or sad. Romance is optional. Chocolate is not. Sorry, Cupid, I'm booked. Soft, fuzzy throws are my love language. Together feels like firelight. Together is my favorite view. Too lazy to care. That's my theme today. Too cozy to care. Cocoa, blanket, us. Quiet moments, warm hearts. So I wanted to kind of do a little bit of a mix of somebody in a relationship and somebody single. And some little bit of sarcasm and just a little bit of sweetheartness. And then we've got all the labels here that are kind of standard in all my kits that have labels. And we've got the shapes. Now, I didn't put anything behind them this time, and I think maybe going forward I won't, just because then you can use them in any kit and you don't have to worry that you've got this clip art on it, because you can always add a sticker to it. But if I mask all of them, then you can't use them across the board as easily. And then these, the little gift tags, I kind of changed some things around on them to where they have like a little bit of a worn edge. So I hope you like that. Let me know what you think. And I changed these up just a little bit too. I put this little bit of like a little fringy bit to the, I don't know, it's not super noticeable, but I like it. So maybe I just notice it more on my computer than I can once it's been exported. But anyway, I like changing up small details. So, okay. And then we've got the days of the week, which I did this key in a horizontal, and I changed where the bow was and stuff so that it looks really cute. I love that. I think that's really pretty. And then this sweet little font here, which is the days of the week as well, including weekend. And then we've got these lovely labels. Now, some of these I'm going to pull off so that you can see them just a little bit easier. So I've checked these. They are seamless. So when you repeat them, they're They do really well. Um, so we've got this log cabin look. We've got this beautiful frosty window with lace curtains. And this is kind of like an abstract of that same thing. Just this pretty lace with a candlelight glow. It looks really pretty repeated. And then we've got the roses and bows, and then we've got like a heart ornament with little pearly beads and such. And then we've got this pretty little plaid. And then we've got this guy. This one will show up better here. I took the background away on this one because I just think that it works really well. When you still want some color, but you don't want just a white background. So that's why that one's a little different. And then we've got this cute little heart. And we've got these little wrens. They're chickadees with little hearts and bows. I think it's darling. Okay, and then you've got all of the same things over again, but as textures. So the backgrounds were removed, or the whole thing got kind of transparent. Like this one, I can't take the background away, but I did make it more opacity to it so that it is not completely solid and opaque. So, and the same thing here. See how you can see that gray line behind it. Okay, I'm not going to resize all these. Be anal about it. And then this guy is just like the one above, except for then the color's been taken out. So now you have just little gray hearts instead of little pink hearts. And that is the pattern, the textures. All right. And then on the last page, well, second to last, you've got this one that's got a link to the Windy Chaos library, where you'll find numbers and more days of the week stuff, time dot bits if you want them, lots of planner words. You'll find complete kits from my previous shop too. I mean, there's just a lot of good stuff in there. And I do need to go through and add some more things, update a few of the kit parts that I usually put in. So look for things to be going in there. I'm thinking about doing some insert type documents, like not necessarily like checklists, but I don't know, little planner ideas, things that I would use, maybe like for meal planning or something like that. I'm not sure yet, but I've got some ideas, and I don't really want to sell them all separately. I think I'd like to just put them in the library, but you might see a few come out. I don't know. Haven't quite figured that part out yet either. Okay, and then this last page, I kind of updated this one too. And it's just a little bit of the shop info. And here are the fonts that have been used. This was Bride Chalk Serif and Swirly Valentine. And on this one, and I'm going to try to make sure. Oh, no, I didn't. Okay. I thought I had. I'm going to go back and make sure and add I have the pinwheels so that each kit will have its own pinwheels, and you'll be able to grab them. So I will make that quick update before I upload everything into Dropbox. So there we go. Let's take a look at the mock-ups. Hopefully these are all on the right pages. If they're not, yes, there we go. There it is in rings. I love how this one turned out. Oh my goodness. So I did, on this page, I used the birch trees and I added an extra bow there. I used the Friday with the key, and then just the chair, and I added that little pillow on, and the window, and then there's those sweet little chickadees. one thing I love in the Shelly planners is I love to do the pour feature. I just think that is so much fun to just add that little bit of color to the background. You know, she does such a beautiful job of just kind of sectioning things off. It's not my favorite way to plan. I tried, it's just a little too formatted for me, but I really do enjoy making the mock-ups because there are all these little elements that I can just drop little bits of color in. So, and then on this one, I used those cute little snowflakes and one of the little sayings. And then I made a shape with curved edges. So if you're in ZoomNotes and you draw out your shape, this is my favorite way right now. I'm just loving this. I'm going to open this here. Okay, so, oops. Okay, so here I am on my patterns. Let's just do this guy. And I just do copy. And then I go to image. I do image. Well, first I'm going to do this. I'm going to take off the border. I'm going to give myself like let's go around 12 there for the edges. And I can take off the fill even. I can still do image from pasteboard and tile it. And now my box here has those rounded corners, which is so nice. I love doing that. The other thing I really like to do with these, so I'm on the select tool and then I can go to shape properties and then I can do draw shadow. I can also access that same thing. Here I'm on the select tool, but if I change over to the square tool and then go to the sliders at top, that puts me in that same thing there. So there you go. This has become my favorite way to fill just a space the way I want. I don't have to crop. I don't have to do the repeat. I just draw out my shape. Now, if I want to change kind of like the size of that fill, it's a little trickier, but there are some ways to do it. So under image, again, under that, and in the shape tool, I can do vertical, horizontal. If I keep doing this, it kind of goes around the circle. But if I do width and I scroll up, I can do tile width here. And so I can change the size. And if it's not big enough, I can pop in a number. So I could pop in like say 200 if I really wanted to zoom it out. And sometimes I do that. Sometimes I put 1,000 in there just because I want a certain, just one section of it. So that's what you can do. That it's just, oh gosh, I use this like in every single spread now. Okay. So there we go. Let's get that smaller. And then let's go here to portrait. Oh, I usually do portrait last, but today we're going to do portrait next in the middle. Oh, that was Scandi. There we go. So this one, I wanted to make it super cozy, and I think I really did that with this particular guy. So this one, what I did was I did a lot of layers on this. So there's my background, but my background, I actually took down the opacity that way. So there's a couple ways to take down opacity. You can do it on, if it's the only thing on the layer and that's the way you want to do it, you can do it that way. But you can also do the fill tool that same way. So if I do this, image, it's still in the pasteboard. So there, but here's the opacity there. So I can do it right like that. And this had the fill on it, so it's hard to see it, but there you go. And the border off. and draw a shadow and curve it. So that's one way to do it, and then the other way can be to have it on its own layer and use the slider that's on the layer. So what else to say about this one? Oh, I was going to show you how I do sometimes when I'm wanting to create one of these where I've used the same, but it's like doesn't show up well because of when I had this one on, didn't show up great behind the fireplace. So I'll take, and instead of doing highlighter, because highlighter will always put things to the very back, it sends it to the back, so that means it's going to the back of that layer. So it's okay if you've got your things separated on layers, but sometimes you've got you're working on the same layer as you've put in a background already. So I've got this at 50% and I've got it pretty large. So I will just make myself a little scribble, and I can, then I can pop that saying on it, and I can group them and move them together. So that was going to be my little bit of a ZoomNotes thing for you today, and instead I got into the fill thing again. So anyway, I think this one turned out really cute too, and let's look at, I did have one more tip for you. And that is under the landscape one. I did a really pretty background with a fill. Not a fill, but with a shape as well. But there you go. Is that gorgeous or what? I just love it. It's kind of really simple. It's just a couple elements. But wow, I just love it. And I love this gradient background. So I was going to show you how I did that. So if you take and draw yourself a square, and I did this, of course, over the whole, most of the way. Let's say what I wanted to do was have the white show through for the trees, like it was sitting on snow already. And I just wanted a pretty background that looked like that cold blue sky. So here we go. We're going to go under fill, and we're going to go to gradient. And it looks crazy right now, right? But I'm going to change the gradient angle to 90. And you could do this for a sunset or, I don't know, a whole beach thing, whatever you wanted. So I wanted the darkest part of the blue, and I used this. I used this blue, and then I go back, and I use the next one, and then I go back, and then this last one, I wanted to be the very lightest. And then my opacity was at 50%, which looks really good on the white, and it gives you that blend. And then I just tucked it behind. I think I put it on its own layer. Nope, I didn't. But sometimes it just helps to kind of have this at the top. It looks like I've still got a border on it maybe. And then just send it back. Yeah, I do still have a border on it. So shape properties, border off, and then moved back. There you go. And then I just took that white pen and I kind of blurred the lines a little bit here. You can see it now because it's not exactly the same shape that I had it before I redid on top. Yeah. So anyhow, that is that, guys. How easy is that? That's so much fun. So think about pretty Yeah, there we go. Think about pretty sunsets and other things. See, I need that to be just a little bit higher because I want the tree to look like it's sitting on snow. That's everything I've got for you today. I hope to have another kit for you next week, but we'll see. Then I might take a little bit of a break for the holidays themselves, and then I should be back with some other new stuff. But I hope you guys are having a great holiday season. I am having an okay one. It's been a rough year, been a hard time, and I don't know. The new reality of what my days look like is taking a little bit of getting used to. It's not a sad thing per se. It's in so many ways it's what I've wanted, but there are also a lot of things that I need to do and take care of that I've wanted to get a little bit ahead in the shop before I dove into so much of my mom's estate stuff. And so that is in the back of my mind a lot of times when I'm trying to enjoy doing the designing things. Is like, am I spending my time doing what I'm supposed to be doing or just what I want to do? Because I'm a brat and happy to do what I want to do for a little bit of time. So we'll see what the new year looks like as far as dividing time the way it needs to go. All right, guys. Take care, and thanks again for watching, and I'm wishing you all a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year if I don't jump back on here with another kit. I should have one more before I take a little break for the holidays, but fingers crossed. Take care. Bye-bye.